Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, workplace mental wellness is a big topic these days. It's important to companies from coast to coast. We'll be talking to an expert next.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
So a big issue from coast to coast is mental wellness in the workplace because many companies are just not set up to deal with it. The employee might have a concern reporting it to HR, won't tell the boss, and so people are struggling. They're burning out. They're breaking down. To talk about that today, Michael Dickerson. He's a workplace mental health consultant.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
excited to be here.
Well, I want to hear more about your journey. How did you get into this?
Absolutely. So for a long time, I was a social worker, and I did what they call school-based social work. And so as a social worker, I used to work with youth and young adults who were dealing with and experiencing mental illness. And so I did that for about 5 to 7 years, really enjoyed it. And then had a chance to be a state consultant for Oklahoma and a trainer. And I had a chance to train social workers in the state of Oklahoma and do some consulting work with mental health agencies. And so during that time, I was sitting on the board of Association of Training and Development in 2019. And when we had COVID, COVID came about. And then a lot of the people that I sat on the board with during that time was like, we have a lot of people in our organizations who are experiencing stress, who are experiencing burnout, really having trouble dealing with work-life balance. And do you think you can come and speak to our employees about that? And I'm like, absolutely. I thought this was just a common thing that was happening in organizations, but I came to find out that a lot of organizations wasn't talking about this. And so I would go and present about employee well-being, how to better take care of yourself, how to have better self-care, what does that look like in the workplace in terms of your organization, building a culture of well-being. And so I got into this work just really working with leaders and how can we better strategize to really improve employee well-being.
Absolutely. He wrote a wonderful book. It's called Struggle Well at Work. Michael, tell us more about the book.
Absolutely. So one of the things that I had an opportunity to do when I was a consultant for the state of Oklahoma is go and be a part of a program out of New York. It's called the Flourishing Center. And what the Flourishing Center does, it really focuses on trying to help you understand and really promote positive psychology. And what positive psychology is is a science of human flourishing. It's what makes people thrive, what is right about people instead of what is wrong with people. And so I had a chance to really study positive psychology. The reason that I really like studying positive psychology because it's a science. It's not just self-help. It's really a science. You really have really good foundational science behind what helps people really have good well-being and thrive. And then what is great about that is they say these are some of the things that help people thrive in institutions and organizations. So I gleaned just a lot of the principles, a lot of the science and the concepts out of positive psychologies. And I just put it in the book and said, these are the things that positive psychology says that will help your employees and help your organizations and help your business to help you thrive and flourish. And also, what we do know, some people struggle at times, but these are the things that'll help you. And so it says struggle well at work, and how we help them flourish better in the workforce.
Beautiful. And Michael is a very popular speaker. We found this clip. Let's go ahead and roll that now.
Have these things, negative emotions. We have anxiety, we have depression, we have fear, we get jealous, we get worried. All these things start to happen, which cause what we call negative emotions. And then when we have negative emotions, we take that home. We take it to our romantic relationships. We take it to our partners, husbands, wives, life partners. All these things begin to affect us. And not only just romantic partners, we begin to take it to our children. Now our children begin to see the negative emotions that we have. All these negative emotions begin to spill over. And our children begin to detest you going to work. Don't you know that we spend 1/3 of our life at work? 1/3, that's a lot of time at work. That's 33% of your lifetime at work. And so really thinking about how can we have better well-being? Because your life is about well-being. And organizations have to take a responsibility about your well-being. And well-being is critical to have a spillover effect.
So, Michael, post-pandemic, what are you seeing? Are issues continuing to come up related to the pandemic?
Absolutely. So we're still starting to see, even after the pandemic, high levels of stress, right? I would say even more, because now we know with inflation has went up, so people are struggling economically. People are struggling to have even more work-life balance, because now organizations and businesses say, y'all got to come back into the office, when for so long they've been at home, being able to have that flexibility. Now that flexibility is there, and it causes a lot of stress on them. So, and then we know there's just a rise on people dealing with a mental illness or a mental health condition. And so we see 1 out of 5 people that's dealing with some type of mental health condition. So it's not going away. It's starting to even increase. And so we have to put parameters in place, specifically in our institutions, specifically in our organizations and businesses, to really help employees, because they're going to ask their managers, they're going to ask directors, how are you helping to improve my well-being? And so those things that we are seeing right now.
So for the CEO watching this or the head of HR watching this, how do they know when to bring in a guy like you?
Well, anytime, especially when you start to see. So one of the things that I like to do is do assessments. So when you do an assessment and you see there's high levels of stress, I need to come in. You need some interventions. When you have high turnover, that's a big telltale signs, like something's going on within your organizations. You're not retaining people. And then on top of that, we want to help you on the front end of better recruitment. Because here's what the data says and also the statistics says around recruitment. We know Gen Zs and millennials put a high premium on those employers that really prioritize workplace mental health. They prioritize employee well-being. So when you see high turnover in your workplace, when you see high stress, when you see people leaving in droves, when you see burnout, then this is when you need to come and see me. This is when you need some intervention, and we can talk about some strategies to help you with that.
Outstanding. You've been an amazing guest. We're going to have you back again soon. We're going to end with his LinkedIn page. Michael Dickerson, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you.
That's it for now. We'll see you next time.